I think Indian Air Force role is absolutely critical and central towards overall our defense requirements, our capability of defense services to be able to tackle all our security issues and provide the necessary security to the nation. So air power brings its own capability, and to have a modern Air Force and a very capable, very well trained, networked. So overall, I think Indian Air Force is really central to the overall defense capability that we have, and in the years to come, it will keep becoming more and more critical, the air power elements of it. See, overall, if you are asking from overall total combat capability point of view, that we were to be 42 squadron, today we are at 30. That's as far as numbers are concerned, but you really have to look at what the status and what really combat capability is on the table with in those 30. And there I think we have done a lot towards modernization in the recent past. So practically all our fighters are modernized and upgraded. Su-30s were upgraded in smaller numbers in terms of weapons, like we did BrahMos and some other capabilities in some other squadrons. But now the Su-30 upgrade is also being launched. Other than that, so fighters are all upgraded, helicopters are upgraded, all the legacy fleets transports are upgraded. So modernization we have done well. New capability induction, again huge capability jump in the recent past with Rafale, with LCS in the fighters, with C-17, C-130s, attack helicopters. This capability has really improved our overall in the transport fleet and the helicopter, attack helicopters and other helicopter fleets. In weapons and sensors, we have done very well. In our combat support elements, overall capability, air-to-air refuelers availability, etc., that we have done well. Our overall surface-to-air missiles with S-400 induction now, overall MRCA, our capability has seen a huge jump. Our indigenous systems are, if you see the industry, the number of systems that we are now inducting indigenously built, that has undergone a major shift. So the shift towards indigenization, towards Make in India, towards Atmanirbharta, that is the strongest element of our growth and capability in the recent past. So if you have to give you overall sense of it, we are doing well, very, very well. And I think if we maintain this trajectory, we will be on a very good capability building path. When you do your force structuring, depending upon the adversaries that you are planning for and the nature of threat, you come to a certain force structure. So this was the required force structure for a 42 squadron fighter force to be able to deal with our situations and to be able to also effectively tackle a two-front situation. Okay, so that is the origin and that is the genesis behind. But the important part is that we have to keep working towards it. I am not saying that 30 is enough. There are a lot of steps being taken. Already more LCS squadrons have been ordered. So once they come in, 4 more squadrons are already in the order. 4 more are being ordered. So 8 squadron plus further orders would change this scenario. Mark IIs are already project is cleared. AMCA project is cleared. So the numbers would continue to increase. This is the status today, and it will always remain so. So when the life cycle finishes, towards the end of life cycle, phase out phase starts. By then, we normally plan out that by then the new induction should be in place. But given the resources, given the other challenges, we are in a state where we are, because in between there was a period where the modernization or the fresh inductions did suffer. But from where we are, I think we are doing well, and especially this shift towards indigenous, I think that will sort a lot of things out. For the fighters, I would start with MiG-21s, which are more or less phased out. I think the last squadron is in the process. So that we would kind of leave out. Those are being replaced by LCAs, as you know. Jaguar is the dedicated attack aircraft, that is really the deep strike aircraft that we have, which has also been modernized and now being fitted with the radar and advanced weapons, both air to air and air to ground. MiG-29s is a totally air superiority fighter. brings huge capability. That has also been modernized. Su-30 again, our biggest strength in numbers in terms of overall squadrons and numbers is Su-30 fleet. That in small elements, in small areas, for some dedicated weapons, we have continued to kind of upgrade. And I think the most important effort that we have put in that is towards putting an operational data link. So that will again bring a huge capability jump in overall, if we see, to function in an integrated manner. I would say PF, we know their capabilities. Their central, I think, capability was F-16 based and weapons of American origin, and now they are shifting more and more towards China in all their combat capabilities, be it in the fighter fleet or be it in other fleets, and their overall air defense capability. So the shift towards China is taking place in a big way. There are reports that they are going in for Chinese platform and also possibly Chinese stealth in future. So that is where their capability, I leave it there, because as far as our own focus is concerned, we are focusing on China to build our capability and our abilities to tackle China. Pakistan would automatically get tackled. And China, it is important to understand, they have spent a lot of effort and time and money into their indigenous capability build-up over last 3 decades plus, and that has really shown results there. So their manufacturing setup, their rate of production of aircraft, where they are in terms of their engine production, where they are in terms of their stealth aircraft is already flying, already inducted. So they have advanced a fair amount in terms of as far as air power assets are concerned, both in terms of performance capability and in terms of electronics, sensors, weapons, networking. There are areas that they haven't done as well, especially on the engine side. There are areas of concern, but they have progressed a lot, and that is something that we should keep in mind. And that's why for us it is very important to the shift that has taken place towards Make in India and Atmanirbharta, especially Atmanirbharta, is very important, because if you have to tackle China, you have to have our own Indian systems. You have to develop it indigenously. You have to build your manufacturing base to have a higher rate of production. You have to build your abilities and capabilities to sustain them, and also thereafter to evolve in all field, in the fighters, in helicopters, in transports, in sensors, weapons, electronics, new developments, in space and cyber assets, overall integration, networking. So this entire area of capability build-up has to become indigenous based, and which is happening, and that is the, I think, best shift that has taken place in the last 8-10 years. And I think where we are headed, we just have to put a little more energy and focus, involve the private sector more and more. That is where a lot of work needs to be done, although some work has started. But I think the ground realities are that the private sector needs to step in a much bigger way. The overall integration of DPSUs, private sector, DRDO labs, I think we really have to change gears in that area, and that will bring all the results that we want. See, 20 years down the line, Sukhois will be the last of the aircraft apart from Rafale. We will have only Rafale and Sukhois left. Sukhois will be towards the end of its life. Rest all aircraft would have got phased out. So that time we would have only LCA Mark 1A. We would have Mark 2s inducted already. We would have Rafale. We will have Su-30s on the way out and AMCA on the way in. So by then, in 20 years, I would think that roughly 4-5 squadron of AMCA should be already in, and the rest by then we should be producing just Mark 2s and AMCAs. That is where I think I see 20 years from now. But more importantly, apart from fighter development, by then we should have perfected our manned-unmanned teaming. By then we should have perfected our unmanned combat aircraft. I am not talking of UAV, unmanned combat aircraft, which is another ball game. It is almost as capable as, let's say, AMCA. It could be stealth. So the unmanned versions of these must come up by then, and we should be able to team. And we should really be advanced in our sensors and weapons. So more miniaturized, more higher ranges, weapons with higher ranges, hypersonic weapons or direct energy weapons. The overall integration in network. So by then loitering munitions would be at another level. You can already see the changes that are happening today. 20 years we will be in another zone. If you just bring in AI and space-based assets integration into this, that is where the whole game would be different. So these will be the platforms, but overall capability, and if you have to look at how networking and datas would move by then, this will be totally at a different level. So we really have to advance in all these things. No, I think the overall capability of the Indian Air Force as a Air Force is very well received across the globe. In all the exercises that we take part, I think our pilots have done exceedingly well. So the Indian Air Force has given a good account of itself on at global level, and that there is no doubt. In terms of our own capability, finally that matters. And what LCA program itself has given us is changed our place whenever we interact with other air forces, and Mark II and AMCA would again bring it huge capability jump from this aspect. AMCA of course is at a different level, and I would say if 10 years back, if other air forces were interacting, they would have questions or doubts. Today in the world, nobody has a doubt that we would be successful in AMCA. The only thing I want to mention is that it is time that we sort out our plan for the engine design for AMCA, for the 5th generation engine, and I think that has got a little delayed. That needs to be concentrated on, and I'm sure work is happening towards that to be able to. The initial squadron, 2 squadron initial development is happening with the GE414. But finally we need a 5th generation engine to go on to AMCA. I think that is an area we need to look at. We have to have our own engine and our own aircraft. That is when we have the complete capability. So I think engine is a issue that we still need to resolve and go firmly forward in whichever way we decide. See, in terms of industry, visibility, we have already said that we will take 2 of the Mark I, that is with the GE414 engine, and 4 of with 5th generation engine. So a 6 squadron projection has already been made. But you can be rest assured that once AMCA is successful, there will be a lot of increase in the orders towards AMCA, because by then we would start to develop unmanned combat aircraft also, which would be in some ways I think offshoot of AMCA we should start developing. We have to get into manned unmanned teaming. So overall numbers, manned and both unmanned, I think we should be looking at not less than 200, 250. So this project is very important. In terms of future, it is very important for the Air Force, and I think the industry should factor that in. So a lot of energy needs to go into this program as far as the industry is concerned. I don't think we are working on the 6th generation fighter as such, because the 5th generation is something we need to succeed. But it's important to understand that we can work on a lot of 6th generation technologies that we can bring in this aircraft itself. So as far as technologies are concerned, we've had this discussion earlier with the industry, and I've stated on many occasions that it is time that we concentrate on many of the 6th generation technologies and bring it into this program itself, even if it means that adjusting the overall specifications of AMCA in time to come. And I must tell you that industry and ADA in particular is already working on it. For example, they've already launched project on, let's say, electronic pilot, synthetic visions, manned unmanned teaming aspects, which is an element of on the 6th generation fighter, and some of the other technologies that are going to get a huge increase in the way data and the data fusion will be handled, elements of AI and ML which needs to be embedded. Therefore, many of these issues of technology, some are, I am aware, already being worked at. Probably we should look at more and bring it in. So we shouldn't wait for a sixth generation fighter to come up. We should get those technologies into fifth generation. In due course, of course, we will need to assess what all do we need in the next generation fighter, in the sixth generation, and that should be launched. But we are a certain distance away. This has been an ongoing project for a couple of years, and the reasoning, of course, was because of numbers and the shortfall that we have. And when Rafale were ordered, the original plan was much higher, as you are aware, and only 2 squadrons were ordered. So that number was rehashed, and figure of 114 started. So that RFI has been done, and that's in initial stages of I think it's not even gone to DAC. So that's a different project. And I think overall, from where we are, our attention should be on and a lot of energy into our own programs. That is happening, and that is something of a certainty. Air Force is working on those lines on that project. I am not sure of the latest in this way, but that was the logic at that time. No, the acquisition of 2 squadrons of Rafale, it was when the initial, when Rafale was shortlisted in our MRFA program, and thereafter it could not be, the contract could not be concluded. It was, so that was dropped. That is when this government to government deal and working at government to government level was decided upon by the current government. And we went in for direct negotiations, and as an offshoot of the previous project in terms of the cost discoveries, etc. And we completed that deal and inducted 2 squadrons straight away. So that was a capability which was really short, and it was really critical to induct. So that was the logic behind. And the rest has been done as ordering further LCA, further another 97 now. The balance, what was left, that was the genesis of 114 which you mentioned. And of course, the indigenous programs here we just discussed in terms of Mark 1A, Mark 2 and AMCA. See, in AMCA in phase 1, where the engine is fully, let's say, imported G414, in the rest of the aircraft and the systems, I think it will be largely indigenous. By then, a lot of our radar was the other critical aspect. Many of the avionics, electronics and EW system, a lot of that development has taken place. So I expect a very high percentage of indigenous content in the rest. And that's why I say we should not lose sight of the 5th generation engine. That is something we have to launch sooner the better. And that is when the overall indigenous content and the real overall indigenous capability of full-fledged AMCA would surface. So I think that is a critical area. But from industry perspective, what percentage of indigenous? I think it will be a very high percentage. It will be hugely transformative. What I would say, what basic LCA development has done for this industry, it has really set up industrial base on the defense aviation is concerned, and the technologies and the confidence to do it. In 70s we had designed and developed Marut. So we had the capability of a very high-end fighter design and development. And thereafter we lost that capability over 3 to 4 decades and had to really build it up again. And that is the important part, that once you build up this capability and setup, you have to continue to work in that area and expand it. And I think the path we have gone now is good. So with that, with Mark II as a stepping stone and TED-BF, and going on to AMCA, it will be the next transformation. Real high-end in terms of stealth, real high-end in terms of sensors, embedded weapons, advanced weapons, going on to 6th generation technologies, and bringing in AI and MUM in a big way. That is the future. You can see, 20, 30 years from now, 1 manned aircraft and 4 unmanned aircraft along, or 5 unmanned aircraft along. That is a kind of combination that would be flying around. And this level of transformation you will see.